Hola, LCPs. Okay, guys, we're going to wait a few more minutes for more people, and then we will get started. Cristina. LCP Transition for marketing. Okay, 4 people. Okay, we're going to wait 2 more minutes, and we will get started. Okay. Okay, let's wait for a few more people. Only 3 people here. Okay, so guys, we're gonna get started. It's already 10:07, so we're just gonna get going, okay? The button is open for comments, so you guys can write comments as you have them, and I will try to check it at the same time, okay? Perfect, so let me just share my screen, and then we will go. Okay. I will just make sure that the screen is showing. Yes, perfect. Okay, so guys, let's view this full screen so you guys have it. Perfect. Okay, so welcome everyone to Brand Experience for LCPs. Woohoo! First of all, I just want to say congratulations to all of you for being elected LCP. It's one of the most incredible feelings ever to be elected. So enjoy it. Congratulations, and you have an amazing experience ahead of you. Okay, so let's go. Yay, welcome again. And so who am I? My name is Tamara. Hombre Bueno is my last name, yes. I am current MCVP Marketing 1516, and I am really excited to be with you guys here today to be talking about marketing. I'll give you guys a quick history of who I am. So I joined ISIC in 2010. So I was generation 2010, believe it or not. And I started in marketing. I was member, TLP, LCVP, and then I became LCP 2013. And then I became, after that, MCVP OGX for ISIC Canada in 14-15, and now I'm here and proud to be your MCVP Marketing 15-16. Cool. I know most of you, but if you haven't met me yet, like, I would really love to meet you guys, and I'll see you very soon at TTP. Cool. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to be talking about the purpose of BXP, priorities for 2016, national and local roles, and what is your role as LCP in pushing BXP? And we'll end with some questions and answers. So let's talk. What do we think is the purpose of brand experience? So at our core, ISIC is a leadership development organization for young people, right? That's what we do at the very end of the day. We deliver an unmatched experience for developing global leaders. This is what makes ISIC unique and relevant. You know this as LCPs. And of course, our number one priority is to develop leadership. The moment we forget this is the moment we fail. And so, why is this actually all relevant? And why is marketing necessary for any organization? At the end of the day, marketing is the voice of the organization. And it's important for us to remember that, you know, why I was speaking about leadership is because if leadership is our core, marketing's responsibility is to actually share that, right, as the voice of the organization. As marketers, we connect our brand promise with the world, which is to develop leadership. So I just want to share with you guys what our responsibility is. It's to build our reputation as ISIC, attract the right people, tell the proper stories, and of course, create leaders who will change the world. At the end of the day, this is our brand promise. Hold on just 1 second, guys. Okay, so sorry guys. Basically, yes, so at the very end of the day, this is what we are responsible for. So what exactly is ISIC's brand experience? So let's talk about this. So one of the things that evolved this year in 15-16 that we saw is that we have a BXP team now, whereas before we just had marketing. So as you know, there's 3 parts. There's marketing, digital marketing, and public relations. And at the end of that, altogether, we make up the brand experience team. Now, if you ask us what is the purpose of all 3 of us at the end of the day, it's to drive engagement. Right, so driving engagement with the right customers, driving engagement online, driving engagement with media and everything like that. Right, so at the very end of the day, BXP is responsible for engagement. So I really want you guys to remember this, because this is something that we're going to be telling all of your VPs. This is something that we're going to be talking about the whole year, starting at Conal and actually even starting in transition already. Right? If we're not doing engagement, we're not doing our job. So let's break it down a little bit more, and let's start with marketing. What do we believe? What do I believe is the purpose of marketing? It is to understand our customer, to deliver our brand promise. Like I already talked about earlier, right? Our brand promise. So the purpose is really knowing who are we trying to reach, and how are we going to deliver the entire experience of leadership to them. How? It's through three simple things. One is to understand the market, understand the customer who we're trying to reach. Second is to attract. So now that we understand the customer, how do we find them? Where are they? How do we make them, fall in love with ISIG and go through our exchange organization? And last part is measure. So this is a huge thing that we're going to be focusing on this year, is how are we measuring marketing activity? Right? Marketing is not just about making beautiful graphics and having amazing stands and posting beautiful things on social media, but it's how are we measuring our success? Okay. The next part is digital marketing. What is the purpose of digital marketing? So we define this together as a team. It's to create a connection to explode, to explode our brand digitally. So as you guys know, it's 2015. In this age, it's all about social. It's all about all of our customers right now are online, right? So it's super important for us to actually create a connection. And the whole point is, how can we explode ISEC? Because with physical marketing, we can do a lot of engagement, but through digital, we can actually grow like never before. All right, so how are we going to do this? Very simple as well. Understand, create content, right? So create things that are appealing to our customers. And of course, like I mentioned already, it's to measure. Of course, next up is public relations, so MyTech. What we defined as public relations is positioning ISIC as a purposeful brand. So a lot of the things that the work that we should be doing in PR is all about positioning and making sure everybody who engages with ISIC understands our purpose at the end of the day, which, like we mentioned already, is leadership development, right? So PR is all about this. And how do we do PR? Very simple. We understand our market, understand our community, understand companies, understand ONGs, etc. The second part is to expose. So expose what we actually do in ISIC. And the third part is to measure. Again, measuring our partnerships and success, measuring all the publications we post, etc. Okay, so that is PR. And as you guys know, maybe you can see the trend here. BXP drives engagement, and it's three parts. Very simple. You saw it as a trend in each one of them. We need to first understand. Second, we act. And third, we measure. So you can see that within marketing, PR, and digital marketing, the actions are different, but the structure is very simple and it's the same, right? Understand, act, and measure. This is how we do BXP. All right, let me just check if there's any questions quickly. You guys will see my screen. Okay. Nothing. Okay, that is fine. Let's keep going. All right, so understanding the roles in BXP. So I really want to clarify with you guys the role of the MC versus the LC. This is really, really important because this is the messaging that we really want to share. What is the role of the MC? One is to build a strong national brand, right? So we're going to create and provide the overview and direction of the brand for the entire entity. So this is our responsibility as a national team. Secondly is to customize the global perspective. So we work very closely with AI, who is managing the overall ISIC marketing plan. And we take that and actually adapt it to the needs of Mexico and also the needs of all of your LCs, right? So we take the global perspective and make it national for all of you to be more aligned with what we need here. The third is to organize national resource. So to develop, find information, teach information, and really support all of you guys and your LCs to do better branding and marketing and everything like that. Okay, so this is the role of the MC. Now, what is the role of the LC? This is what you guys are really, I'm sure, focused on. The first is to be local market experts. Okay, so what does this mean? So customizing all of the national messages that we create and actually tailoring it to what you guys need on your campus and your realities, right? We always hear like, okay, my reality is different than this LC, et cetera, et cetera. But the role of the LCVP marketing is to actually adapt it, right? And actually taking that campaign and making sure that it's aligned with what your LC needs, right? It's collecting content specifically for your LC. You know, one of the things that we realized this year is that we really want to create local marketing experts, right? At the end of the day, my team is not going to give your LCVPs the day by day plan, the week per week plan of what they have to do, because that is their job. You know, their job is to really become an expert on what's happening in their campus, to really do the analysis, to really understand how they can support all our exchangers, and to actually be the ones to actually do it themselves, right? I don't want anyone to be dependent on the MC, because I want to create smart marketers. We have them already. If you guys help me create them, this will be amazing. Okay. What else? They're also frontline implementers, right? So at the end of the day, your LCVPs are the ones who are the closest to our customer, right? You're the ones who are actually delivering all the messages that we create on a global and national level. Right? You guys are the ones who really understand the purpose of ISIC and how it actually works in the local reality, right? So this is the idea that we really want to make sure that all of your membership are actually aware of this and they know how to represent the brand. So that's the role of the LC. Now let's look at the national BXP structure. We have the MCVP Marketing, MCVP Digital Marketing, and MCVP PR. In total, this synergy is the brand experience. Now let's look at it on the local level. So we're adapting a little bit the structures that we want to give you guys, but you guys can see that it's very similar in a sense to the national level, right? So we have the LCVP Marketing, we have Digital Marketing Manager, we have the PR Manager, and of course as well brand managers. And you can see that we have Ciudadano Global and Talento Global. These are the priorities, and I will talk about this a little bit later. Something to note is that larger LCs or cluster 1 LCs may actually have a VP PR. There's also a few as well that we approved to have a VP PR. So this is something that my tech is managing and working on with the VPs. Okay. So that's a local marketing structure, and you can see how it's replicated at the end of the day from the national and the local level, right? At the end of the day, this synergy is what makes up BXP, brand experience. So you guys can also see that we don't actually have LCVP BXP. Why? Because the team itself is BXP, right? We still have the LCVP marketing who's leading everybody. That's what's happening also on the national level. I'm leading the team. But together is what makes up BXP. So if you guys have been starting to call your LCVPs BXP, it's time to change that back to marketing, because this is what our focus is, okay? That's all right. Okay, so now let's talk about the role of VP marketing. What do you think is their role? Okay, I know we have a lot of different ideas about what we think marketing is responsible for, but let's go through it. So these are some general misconceptions and things that I've realized, things that I've heard in the network, etc. We hear a lot about design, you hear a lot about videos, you hear a lot about, okay, marketing needs to make things pretty, etc. Or, marketing is just support. No, 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 right? We're actually a lot more than that. And I want you guys to help me create this mindset. So, a lot of you guys know that we call BXP or marketing back office, but that's something that I want to change this year, next year as well, right? We are actually a lot more than just back office. So the role of the VP marketing in 2016, like I mentioned, is to drive engagement, right? To know our customers and to tell the right stories to attract and connect them with us. Our role is to strategically drive exchange activity, right? We're not just back office, right? In the sense, the culture that we've been kind of seeing is that marketing almost waits as back office to in order to ask, okay, how can we support OGX? How can we do this? Or kind of almost being waiting to be told what to do. But that's what we need to change next year, right? Marketing needs to be drivers. We need to be 5 steps ahead of OGX and understand how we can actually create the marketing plan for them, right? We need to be ahead and actually know how we can support them. So this is the way that we're really going to be shifting the role of VP. We are not back office, we are drivers. All right? Now let's look more specifically at the role of VP marketing, and there's a lot of different colors here. So parts of the things that you guys should be tracking and making sure your VPs are doing is market analysis. So really, really important, especially right now, if your VPs looking at segmentation and trying to understand, their realities and doing all of this research, super important. Attraction, so attracting all the right customers to our organization. Data analysis, which is incredibly important. So actually, after we're doing all this activity, how are we analyzing all the data and learning from it and working from it? Brand management, of course, super important. Public relations, digital marketing, internal communications. So marketing is also responsible for the internal communications within the LC. And of course, content creation as well, right? So creating articles, creating all the showcasing, etc. Right, so this is the role of a VP marketing in general, right? The main things they should be doing. But what is our priority? And this is, again, a culture shift that I really, really want you guys to help me with it next year. Our priority is attraction. And what I mean by that is actually leads generation. Okay, everything that we need to be doing in marketing, everything that your LCVPs, marketing and PR need to be doing is leads generation. This is the purpose of BXP, right? This is the contribution of BXP to grow ISEC. Why? Like I mentioned already, we are the ones responsible for engaging with the world, being the voice of the organization, and telling everybody why they need to be a part of this amazing organization, right? And we need to do that through leads generation. So I'm going to jump back a little bit. So you see all of these activities here. If at the end of the day, they're not supporting with driving leads generation, then your VP is doing something wrong. Okay, and that means we need to shift our strategy. You as LCP need to support them and actually focusing again on attraction, right? And leads generation. Cool. So let's keep going. Program marketing. So this is also a huge change we've been starting to develop over this semester, and something that the current VPs marketing already know and are going to be transitioning with your with your VPs. But basically, the way that marketing is going to change next year, especially, is that almost all of their efforts need to drive OGX. At least 80%, even more. Okay, so that means that they're focusing less on ICX, but I'll explain why OGX. So why is this synergy important? Basically, it is the key to everything, right? It's the key for us to grow. OGX is the sales team of the organization, and marketing obviously is the marketing team of the organization, right? And what we've seen externally in real organizations outside of ISEC, we've seen it in a lot of entities in ISEC globally. The more synergized sales and marketing is, the more you'll actually see growth, because the whole process is actually aligned, right? If marketing is attracting all the right people for sales job will be so much easier, right? So this is our whole purpose this year of shifting to marketing OGX synergy, right? This is the impact that marketing needs to have in the organization. So how are we going to do this? I'm going to really need your guys' support in this, because right now our entities are not there yet. And it's something for you guys to start thinking about as LCP elects. How actually is a synergy between my OGX and marketing team? Are they on the same page? Do they do recruitment planning together? Do they understand leads? Do they track conversion rates, etc.? So these are the types of questions you need to ask yourselves. But basically, how are we going to do it? OGX and marketing need to do recruitment planning together. And this is going to be the messaging that me, Ross, and Yichu are going to be telling the VPs in the next months, and especially at Conal. They need to set the goals together. All of the goals of marketing needs to be the goals of OGX, right? All the realizations, marketing's responsible for helping get those realizations. They need to be one team. Again, they also need to be defining their target markets together. So doing all of this analysis, they need to be analyzing together their markets, who their customers need to be, etc. They need to be tracking leads together. So super important of marketing generating the leads and OGX converting and actually making sure they become customers, right? So everything that has to do with leads management needs to be done together. Okay, I've heard some stories of some LCBP's OGX hiding signups for marketing, and that is the last thing we want. Okay, we really want them to be synergized and really, really one team. Okay, what else? We need them to keep each other accountable. So for you as LCP, actually making sure you facilitate this synergy and making sure that OGX is always following up with marketing getting leads, and marketing always following up so that OGX is actually converting those leads into customers. Right? This is your job as LCP, is making sure that the synergy is working. Of course, as well, the last point we have here is weekly synergy meetings for tracking. So ideally, OGX and marketing, either it's OGIP marketing and OGCDP marketing or OGX marketing together, they really need to have these synergy meetings outside of EP meetings to actually check how is recruitment going, how is our leads this week, how is conversion happening, what is the plan, etc., etc., etc. Okay, the more synergized they are, I promise you, the faster your LC will grow in OGX. Okay, so a question everybody's probably asking is, okay, what about ICX? And so basically what's going to happen is ICX is going to be supported by the national team. So we're going to be developing the strategy, the materials, the content, and it's actually going to be implemented by digital marketing and PR, of course, led by the LCVP marketing. Right? So all of the content, for example, for IGCDP host family or IGCDP matching, IGIP opportunity marketing for matching, etc. All of this will be executed by digital marketing. Okay, so the plan will be ready, but it's up to the up to your VP marketing to actually make sure that's all planned out in a timeline and executed by the digital marketing manager. Okay, for PR, it's also the same thing, right? So PR is going to be the one really supporting ICX as well through publications, through networking, through all the right channels and publications to actually support ICX. So that's how it's going to work. And why? At this point right now, what I've seen is LCBP's marketing are, in a sense, overwhelmed in terms of trying to support every single exchange area. And when we try to support every single exchange area, we will not be able to support any exchange area very well, right? This is something that I've learned. This is something that I've experienced myself. It's something I've talked to a lot of LCVPs about. So what we really need to do is really know how to support one program, which is OGX. So it's the OGAP and OGCDP, really, really well. And until we know how to do this really, really well, we know how to track leads, we know how to get the right people, we know how to convert, etc. Until we know how to do that, we are not able to actually support ICX in the way that we ideally want to, right? We don't have the talent capacity to do this yet as well. So basically, this is the main reasoning, and this is the plan of how we're going to be supporting ICX next year. Okay. Again, remember the rule: 80-20. 80% OGX, 20% ICX. All right, so let's keep going. So just a special message for you guys. I really, really need you guys as LCPs to support me. All right, because this is not just a change in strategy, but this really, really is a change in behaviors, right? I really need you guys to support me in changing the behavior of an LCVP, being able to focus on OGX, to focus on these specific programs, put all their heart and soul and brains into it, and actually make it happen, right? So I want you guys to challenge your LCVP's marketing throughout the next few months, especially in planning, and also when they start next year. But I want you to challenge their plans, their structures, and ask them what have they done to boost OGX, because this is their contribution, right? This is something that I really want you to help me do, because this is how we're going to change our entity. This is how we're going to change Mexico. Okay, this is our contribution as marketing. Now, let's talk a little bit more about our plan. Again, it's time to simplify marketing in Mexico, like I mentioned. Your VP's job is to focus on attraction. So let's talk a little bit about the specific priorities in 2016. The first is customer-centric marketing. All right, so we're talking a lot about the inbound marketing methodology. So this is a methodology by HubSpot, a really popular marketing tool and organization that's really focused on understanding our customer in order to actually generate more leads and actually find the right people and find the right customers to go through our programs. So this means we're looking a lot at customer flows. We're looking a lot at, hold on just one second. Okay, hold on. Okay, so you guys want me to look at the questions. Hold on just one second. Where's the question? Okay, hold on, guys. Here, Q&A. Okay, let's pause. Hold on just one second. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Relax, Alonso. Okay, I would like to understand better, how does a PR team work? Okay, we'll just take a pause and answer all of the questions, okay? So how does the PR team work? So basically on the national level, my tech is managing all of the PR. And on the local level, we have, like I mentioned already, only some LCs have VP marketing. So there's 5 LCs that have a VP marketing. We're waiting for one more, so it's 6 in total. And for everybody else, you guys will have PR managers. Okay, so the idea is my tech will still be responsible for supporting you guys with your LCVP's PR and PR managers of how to actually do how to do PR. So how to do external partnerships, how to do alliances, how to do publications, how to do events, etc. Okay, so my tech will still be giving your your teams a lot of support on how to do PR. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay. Ready? Okay, next question, let's see. Sorry guys, I just want to say hello everybody. Ana Laura, hello guys. Okay, we've been discussing it inside my LC. All the marketing thinks that the name is thank you for BXP. Okay, perfect. Yes, sounds good, Rodrigo. So we have VP's marketing, not VP's BXP. Cool. In my LC, we did a lot of work together with marketing and OGX, but we forgot about ICX. How can we avoid focusing only just at OGX and ICX also drives? Okay, and I hope I answered your question, but basically what we really want is we really want your LCs to focus a lot more on OGX. And the main way we're going to really support ICX is especially at the beginning with the market analysis and really supporting them with segmentation and planning and everything like that. But otherwise, other than that and other than opportunity marketing, there's not really much more we can support them with at this time based off our talent capacity, based off how many members you have in your LC, etc. Okay, so that's really the idea. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Cool. So keep going. You guys can keep typing your questions here if you like, and then I will just and go through the PPT some more, and then I will answer more questions afterwards. Okay? Cool. Thank you guys for your questions. Okay, so let's go back to marketing in 2016. So we're going to focus, like I mentioned, on customer-centric marketing. We're going to focus on the leads generation. We're going to focus on understanding our customers. Tracking, of course. So you've heard me say tracking a lot. Tracking is one of our biggest focuses next year. Why? Because if we understand the data that we're getting, if we're tracking all of the leads that we're getting, all of this stuff, we can actually improve our performance and our activities, right? Because if we don't actually track data, then we will not know if marketing's work is actually effective or not. And if we don't know if it's effective or not, if we keep doing the same things, we will never grow, right? So this is why it's really important for you guys to know that everything that we're doing for recruitment needs to be done through Podio and through our website, right? We have a lot of sign-up forms that we created for each program, and it needs to be done there because if it's not on Podio, it doesn't count. I know like some of the LCVPs have been using different channels and all of this stuff to get leads and signups, but I'm sorry guys, it's not going to count. It doesn't count now. It's not going to count later on. And so I really want you and your team to really focus on making sure all of the stuff is centralized through Podio and our website. That way, it'll be easier for us to track. It'll be easier for you to track as LCP, and it'll be easier for your OGX and marketing teams to track as well. Okay. The last part is just targeted marketing. So how are we targeting instead of trying to sell to everyone in every university possible? Okay, so we're gonna talk with the VPs a lot about how are we prioritizing who are what our sub-products are, what our issues are, etc. And actually focusing more on that instead of trying to sell everything. Because if we're trying to sell everything, we will not sell anything well, right? So the idea of focus is going to be the most important thing for marketing next year. Now let's look at PR. What is PR focused on? Really focusing on key partnerships. Right, so public relations at the end of the day is focused on strategic partnerships and alliances, right? It's not just videos, it's not just media, it's not just being on TV and all of this fancy stuff and being in articles, but at the core of it is key partnerships and alliances who will boost ISIC and make us grow like crazy. right? It's all about the brand awareness and positioning, and that's done through strategic partnerships. This is why you guys can see kind of on a global level how ISIC is really trying to partner with the UN. Because if we partner with the UN, this is how we'll become known, right? So the idea is how can we here also in Mexico find the key partnerships and alliances on a national and local level to boost our organization. Okay, so always think about the UN example for PR. The second part is relevant events. So how is PR finding amazing events for us to showcase ISIC, and also what kind of events can we be creating to also showcase ISIC, right? So two parts is being present at events, right? But also how are we creating events? This can also include like speaking opportunities. Hopefully, some of you LCPs will have some speaking opportunities. When I was LCP, that was one of my favorite parts of working with my PR team. So that's just something to think about. And lastly, of course, is promotion. So this is the part I was talking about, publications and articles and also like media. Okay, so these are the three parts of PR. Now, digital marketing in 2016. So, first part is social media leads generation, right? So, like what I already talked about is getting all of the leads, but how are we doing it through digital? The second part is attraction through content. And content basically is really focused on how are we writing articles, how are we creating amazing content to actually find the right people and pull the right people to ISIC. So it's the idea of instead of pushing ISIC to people and telling them buy this product, join our organization, etc., how are we creating amazing stories and articles to actually make people want to come to us, right? Instead of forcing our product to them. So the last part is showcasing. So you guys have heard Sabina talk a lot about showcasing, I'm sure. But the idea is how are we actually capturing the story of our customers and showcasing it to the world in order to attract more people, right? So really want to focus on the videos, and we really want to focus on amazing stories and really showcasing that in order to keep growing as ISIC. So these are the main ways you guys as LCPs can be tracking if marketing is successful or not. I know sometimes when we're not directly operations, it's really hard to see if marketing's activities are helping or boosting or anything like that. But these are the things you need to be tracking week per week, month per month, quarter per quarter to see if marketing is successful or not. So the first is number of leads generated, right? This is the signups that we're getting through Podio. And of course, this is done through physical marketing, so like things like stands and info sessions, all of this stuff. And of course, also through digital marketing, right? So this is the social media pages and everything like that that we've been talking about. The second is conversion. So conversion from leads to customers. So it's not enough for marketing to just get a lot of people to actually sign up. But if nobody actually becomes an EP after they sign up, then it's marketing's job didn't actually work, right? So the idea is we need to be tracking the conversion rate from a lead to customer. And the ideal state is 100% of leads become customers, because that means we attracted the right people, right? So the higher your conversion rate is, the more successful your marketing team is. Okay, the next part is engagement on social media. So actually tracking with the digital marketing managers and your VPs to ensure that the things that we're posting is actually relevant and that we're actually building engagement. Because you can post all you want, but if nobody is liking it or commenting or anything like that, it's useless. The next part is number of PR publications. So where are we making ourselves present? Number of events attended or established, like I mentioned, and of course the number of key partners that your VPs are developing, right? Whether it's university, your government, or ONGs, etc. This is how you can track if your marketing teams are being very successful in what they do. Okay, and basically you can see a lot of this is number based, so this is a clear way to be tracking them. And especially the first two is something that I really, really challenge you guys to be following up on in every single EB meeting. Like your VP's marketing needs to know this number by heart every single week. How many leads did you generate? What is a conversion rate? How many leads did you generate? What is a conversion rate, etc. Okay, this is the kind of language and behaviors that we need to have in order to really, really grow BXP next year. Okay, so what about branding? Of course, marketing is about branding. But at our core, guys, this is the responsibility of marketing. Right? Your LCVP is responsible for making sure everyone in the LC understands branding, understands our products, understands how we talk about ISIC, how we sell ISIC to our customers, and they're responsible for making sure everybody's trained in the brand rules and guidelines, right? And not just the marketing team, but how are they actually training the EB? How are they training every single member as well? It doesn't matter which area in terms of how our brand needs to be delivered to the world. Okay, this is huge, guys. And I'm going to explain the next steps as well for branding. The first is we're working on a brand compendium that I want you guys to be aware of. So we're working on some stuff to make sure that everybody's aware of the brand and the rules, like, and that we're not actually breaking the rules for brand. The second part is certification. So we're working on brand certification for your LCVP's marketing so that they're all trained and they know exactly what needs to be done for branding. And the third part, one of the ones I'm most excited about, is the brand refresh and brand portfolio launch. So currently, your BXP team and some of our current VPs marketing are working with us on creating a brand refresh. So at the end of the day, we're making a whole brand portfolio that is focused, one, on leadership. So how are we focusing the whole brand on leadership at its core? And we're also doing all the product packaging for every single program. Okay, so the idea in 2016 is we want to create a whole portfolio that's aligned with every single program and product, where if you put everything on one page, all the different brands, all the different materials, everything looks like it's part of one brand and everything is aligned, right? So this is what we're working on right now. We're working on also a brand booklet as well, a new brand booklet that's refreshed with everything that your VPs need to know, and this will all be delivered in Conal. So the idea is that all of the materials and campaigns and everything that your VP marketing will need, everything will be given to them at Conal. So they don't need to focus on design next semester. Okay, we don't really, like, at the end of the day, marketing is not design, and I want your VPs to be focused instead of taking these designed materials and using it as a tool for their strategies, right? Your VP's marketing need to focus on strategies, not design. So we want to make sure that they have all of the materials ready for them so that in January they can just go and recruit and recruit and recruit. Okay, so that's the next steps. And what are the next steps overall? Right now is just the MC transitions and the VP to VP transitions, which is starting tomorrow. So the next 3 weeks, we're going to be working on delivering sessions for your VPs. The second part is the market research. So this is the time and space that your VPs need to be focusing on analyzing their market, learning from their current VPs, and really trying to segment and understand for all exchange programs to support them in this research part, right? Because if we do not do research and we do not understand, then we cannot act and then we cannot measure. Okay? The next part is OGX product understanding. So I really want, if your VP's marketing right now do not fully understand their OGX products, they really need to work with OGX now in terms of understanding it, right? At the end of the day, marketing needs to be the best sellers and the people who know how to sell OGX best, right? Because they're the ones that are doing, they're the ones that are posting on Facebook. They're the ones that are going to be talking to students on the campus, etc. Right? So they need to be 1,000% sure they know everything they need to know about how to sell OGX. Okay? So this is my challenge for you to make sure that your VPs are starting to work on this. And of course, the last thing, you know this already, is year planning with the EB, right? So you guys can see that in the year plan tool that Juano created, is that there's not actually a marketing tab, right? Because why? Marketing's job is to get signups, and that is under the OGIP and OGCDP tabs, right? So this is why, like I mentioned earlier, they need to be planning for recruitment and everything together. Okay, and at the end of the day as well, but your VP still need to actually be working on their marketing plans as well, separate from this year planning tool, right? So more specifically, what are the activities they're going to do, what are their focuses and priorities, etc. But that's something that they need to be working on. Okay, and so now is the questions part. So I'm just going to go back. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and let's see. Okay. All right. In my LC, so Sophia, in my LC, we need to improve the part of attraction in my university for OGX, but we don't have a clear notion of how we can do it. Okay, perfect. So we have a lot of exciting things that we're going to be we're developing right now, and also going to be developing even more with your VPs in Conal and next year, is how we can actually be doing attraction better. So the first step is actually the idea of customer profiles. So this is something that we started to talk about already in Apollo, but the idea is we really want your VPs to understand customer profiles. So for example, let's just say a customer profile could be marketing OGIP. Let's just say for marketing OGIP, right? So what the idea is, how can we actually analyze what type of student would go on a marketing OGIP? So we break down the whole customer profile, right? What year are they in? What do they study? How old are they? What are their problems in life? What are the things they want to achieve, etc., etc., etc. And once we know those customer profiles, the idea is we're actually focused on attracting these people, right? So it's really the targeted marketing strategy that I was talking about. Of okay, if we know that they're studying marketing, they're in these kinds of clubs, then we know that these are the areas they hang out. That's where we do our marketing, right? That's how we get into the space. You know, maybe we partner with a different club who has a lot of these potential profiles, right? So it's the idea of targeted marketing. It's going to take a lot of work as well from your LCVPs marketing to understand and do that research as well together. Another thing, Sophia, is that the idea of analyzing the leads you've also generated in the past and how successful they've been, right? Because once we start to look at the data and start to look at how we've properly recruited people, that way we can actually focus our strategies more. So for example, I'll just give an example of this semester. So we did a leads analysis from the time we started, July 1st, to the end of October. And we realized the main ways we attract people is through word of mouth, so friends, and second is Facebook. So the idea is that if it's word of mouth, then marketing needs to develop a strategy where they can boost word of mouth. So an example I give to the LCVPs is, if word of mouth is your best tool, one of the LCs, what they did is they actually did a campaign where every single member in the LC, like they did a contest of where everybody needed to tell at least 10 people to come to an info session. And they had prizes and all of this stuff. So the idea is, how can we actually know how we attract our leads currently, and then what works for us, and how can we keep doing that and boost that even more? I hope that answers your question, Sophia. I know that was a lot of, it was a lot, but if you have any more questions, feel free to ask it again. Okay? Okay, Rodrigo. Brand compendium, yay! You've been asking for it a long time. When do you think it would get done? So this brand compendium, we want it ready as well for Conal, so you guys have it, your VPs have it. We have the rules and everything is super clear, so that once everybody has it, we can just follow through the year. Because one of the things that didn't really work as much for us is, for example, like always having to audit. Right, design auditing should not be something we have to do. Why? Because everybody in your LC should actually know how the brand should look like and the things they need to be doing. So um, we want to really solve that with the brand compendium and training and making sure that everybody knows how to do these things. Um, Instead of having to check everybody's work before they post it, right? So this is what we're focusing on. And basically we're developing it right now, and we would really like to send it to some of you guys as well for feedback, but that's kind of the process that we're working on right now. All right, guys, it's 10:58. Does anybody else have questions? As well, you guys, if you have any questions at all about marketing or PR or digital marketing, you guys can feel free to add me, Sabino, and my tech. We will be happy to talk to you guys, especially me in particular. So just to clarify also the roles of me, Sabino, and my tech. I'm the main responsible for your LTVPs, so I'm managing the entire commission. So any questions you have about strategy or anything like that, just come to me. If you guys want to have a one-to-one, especially now when you guys are in planning or anything, feel free to book me. Just let me know. And I'll be here for you guys to support you, okay? I really, really am excited to work with you guys, and I'm hoping you guys can help me change marketing here in Mexico for the better, okay? Okay, another question from Rodrigo. So we would be able to prepare our own equipment as long as it follows a brand compendium. So you mean in terms of, Rodrigo, do you mean in terms of like materials? So if you mean in terms of materials, yes. So we're gonna make the brand guidelines super clear, and actually we're making the brand portfolio. So we're thinking of all the materials you guys would need, and creating it so that your VPs have it already ready to go. So we don't want you guys to be focusing on creating designs and creating booklets and all of this stuff. The idea is that we want to give it to you guys at the start of the year so you guys can just go. And also something that I want you guys to know is that we're not doing any kind of like semester campaigns anymore, if that makes sense. Like, for example, like in OGCDP, we saw Dale Sentido a tu Vida, or every semester it's something different. So the idea is how we're going to work in marketing in 2016 is we're going to focus on our products, in the core of our products, right? So we're going to focus on Talento Global and what is the product actually all about. And the idea is we're actually going to have materials that are going to be consistent for the year as well. So we don't have to change it every time. We don't always need designers every time. So that's the idea. Okay, and for Rodrigo, so yes, so that's the idea is yes, we want you guys also, like I mentioned, to be local marketers and be able to create materials and publicity and all of this stuff, because you guys are going to be brand experts, right? Your VPs are going to be brand experts as well. So we're going to have the rules and guidelines super clear. And the idea is that we're going to trust you guys to follow all those rules and guidelines in the compendium to make it happen. Oh, hi, Vero. What's super cool? Any other questions, my LCPs? Yay! Okay, so I'll just give you guys a few more minutes to ask your questions, and then we can close the space. Again, you guys can add me on WhatsApp. I would be happy to answer any questions you have, any doubts you have as well. Yes, I'm here to support you guys and your VPs, of course. Who is here? Yay! Aw, love you too. So Rodrigo is here. Sofia is here. Vero is here. Who else is here? Anna is here. Laura is here. And I know there's more, but I don't know who. Okay. Last chance, guys. Ask your questions. I'm here for you.
Te mostramos este lugar, descúbrelo con nosotros, algo parecido, no sé, algo que te haga sentir que te invitamos a que lo puedas vivir.
If there's no more questions, I will be sending to you guys, or I'll be giving to Alonso the PPT, so you guys can have all of the materials and you guys can review it and everything. This was also recorded, so if you guys want to watch it again, you guys have it. And of course, just feel free to ask me any questions that you have. Add me on Facebook, add me on WhatsApp, send me an email. That is fine with me. All right. Good night, everyone. See you at Conal. See you at TTP first. Bye. Oh, last minute question. Are you going to share with the other areas the responsibilities and functions of BXP? Are we going to share with the other areas the responsibilities and functions of each LC? So basically all of the strategies, the whole MC knows right now of like how marketing is going to be supporting on the local level. We've been talking about it and integrating it into the OG model so that it's going to be super clear of how is marketing supporting each program. Okay, so we're going to make it super clear how that's going to work so that your LCVPs are aware, right? That overall the exchangers and BXP as well. Of course, I will be telling all the VPs BXP about it. So in case the exchangers do not understand, like your LCVP's marketing can actually explain that to them. Hopefully, Laura, that answers your question.
Andrea, se supone que ibas a sacar un juego final que no se mandó. Creo que Claudia también estaba jugando con alguno de ellos, no estoy seguro. Diego también estaba tratando de sacar un final para animar el logo de ese final. Entonces, ¿alguien de ustedes tiene una propuesta o no se ha visto todavía algo de eso?
Last chance. Last chance.
Sí. Luego. Pues, sí, hasta donde supe, el que lo estaba haciendo era Andrea y Diego. Entonces, simplemente saber cuál es el update de eso, porque...
Okay, good night, everybody. See you soon.
Entonces, yo quiero que para esta semana, Clau, tú tengas el tuyo, el de pobreza, terminado.